What's up, guys? My name is Tim Roswick, and I wanted to make kind of a follow-up video to yesterday's video. Yesterday, we talked about how to deal with negativity and haters and all that stuff online. Today, I want to talk about why you should accelerate your unsubscribes, your unfollows, all the people that are choosing to stop following you, why you shouldn't be scared of that. So, for a long time, for me personally, I was really scared to tweet something, for example, because I still have a sore throat, so I apologize for this. But I was scared to tweet something because I was scared that I would annoy my followers, right? Like there was these things that I like to participate in Twitter called Twitter chats, where you basically use a hashtag like it's a chat room. And so a bunch of other people get together and they use the same hashtag, and then you follow the hashtag and you view it, and it turns into like a chat room on Twitter, which I thought was really, really cool. But I was really apprehensive about doing it because I was afraid I was going to spam my followers' feed. And I was telling somebody that one day, and they were like, but aren't you, I forget exactly what they said. They said aren't you posting about the things that they want to hear about? And I was like, yeah, they're that's why they follow me. And they're like, well, then wouldn't that be more content that they want? And I was like, oh, well, you know what, that kind of makes sense. Like, I'm scared to annoy them, but in reality, they follow me because they want my content. So I kind of changed my perspective. It didn't take away the anxiety, but it kind of changed my perspective a little bit. And I started really thinking about that too, because I have an email list, and I'll send out emails, and I'll get unsubscribes. People unsubscribe when I send out an email. It happens. I send out emails every Friday, and every Friday I get unsubscribes. I sent out extra emails for introducing Underground Elite and all that, and I knew I was going to get a bunch of unsubscribes, especially because now not only have I sent more emails in a smaller period of time, but now there's money involved. Anytime there's money involved, people unsubscribe for you. But I have experience now. I learned all that. I understood all that from a marketing perspective. And here's what I learned about that. The people that are going to unsubscribe from you, the people that are going to unfollow you on Twitter, the people that are going to unsubscribe from you on YouTube, they were not your target audience. They were not the people that you should be targeting. They're not. And my philosophy since has changed, and I try and accelerate those unsubscribes. So, for example, I'm losing about 25 followers a day on YouTube. About 20 to 25 people every single day unfollow me. But I'm gaining between 100 and 200 subscribers a day right now. So overall, the net is, it's going up. But I've actually made content that I know is going to make people unsubscribe, because I know that by accelerating those unsubscribes, I'm helping to build a clear and coherent community that all has the same belief system. And if you join our Discord chat, you'll actually notice that the atmosphere and the culture is very different than most other game dev Discords. Like, for example, I'm a part of a lot of different Discords. I'm not going to name specific ones, but there are ones that I'll go into, and I just don't feel welcome. There are ones that barely ever talk about game development. They're always, posting all kinds of other stuff. Those are not my kind of thing. I'm very self-improvement oriented. I'm very motivation oriented. I'm very, startup-y and get shit done, and resourcefulness above all. I'm like, all of that stuff that has to do with my personality has kind of bled into the community that we built. And as a result, we have a very welcoming, very accepting community. They're very open. They're open to talk. And it is kind of grown even more with Underground Elite, because it's now we have all the people that otherwise wouldn't be part of the community joining, because it's something where they can get extra value out of it. So you don't get that by playing both sides. You know what I mean? You don't get that by trying to please everybody. You can't have that. You can't have people join a community around your game because your game wasn't offensive to anybody. It didn't ruffle any feathers. It didn't make, you know what I mean? Like, you have to go to one extreme or the other. You have to pick a side sometimes in what you believe. You have to state your beliefs. And every time you do, there's going to be a group of people that says, no, I don't agree with that at all. And then there's going to be people that say, yes, I agree with that. And when you pick a side, when you don't pick a side, first of all, you have both of these groups kind of sort of following you. Like, they don't really care about you, but they're kind of there. When you pick a side, you get rid of one group, but you amplify the connection with the other group. So, for example, if you think of like anything political or religious, right? Think of political, like, you know, I'd never talk about politics and religion because it's so polarizing on any topic. But if you take an election, for example, you have people that are pro-Hillary in this previous U.S. election, and you have people that are pro-Trump. And they would practically fight each other constantly. But if you followed the same, if you were for the same candidate as they were, you guys were best buds, right? Like, you were best friends. But if you were for the opposite candidate, you were their enemies, right? That's what the whole two-party system is about. And if you think about that from like a community building perspective, or from growing an audience perspective, like for your indie game, right? If your game doesn't try to stand for something, it ends up standing like for nothing. Like, it just gets lost. It becomes this like just gray sea of mediocrity if you don't actively make choices to. I'm not saying you have to be offensive, or I'm not saying you have to pick a political side or anything like that. So don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, like, in your marketing, when you post about things, when you're trying to build a community, post your opinions. Say your opinions. Yes, some people are going to leave because of your opinions. Some people are going to unfollow you. Some people are going to unsubscribe. But I'm saying that that's a good thing. Because every time that happens, you get closer to a tight-knit group that actively likes the things that you're creating, or actively likes you for your opinions. And it's hard. It's not always easy, right? Like, still, there's plenty of times I still struggle with sharing my thoughts on stuff, just because I don't want to offend anybody, right? But sometimes it's really, really important that you state where you stand on something, especially when you're building something like a game, right? Like, if the hardcore players want this one feature and the casual players want this other feature, by telling both player bases, oh, we're working on that, when you only have one time for one, right? The whole time, maybe you're holding them over halfway. But then on launch day, when one of those is missing, you're going to piss off one of those groups, right? And if you split that in half and you kind of half-ass both sides of the features, you're going to piss off both groups. So it's better to pick and let everybody know from the get-go, like, no, this is for hardcore players, or no, this is for casual players, or whatever, and make those decisions. And like I said, sometimes it scares people away. Sometimes people will just completely unfollow you right there, and they'll stop, and they're gone forever. But sometimes that's a good thing. So I hope you found it useful. It's a weird topic, I know, for sure, but I hope you found it useful. If you did, leave me a like and a comment down below. Let me know if there's ever been a time where you shared your opinion, or you shared something and it had people unfollow you or unsubscribe from you. Let me know, because I want to hear from you. But once again, I'm Tim Ruswick, and I'll see you again tomorrow.